Hello, this is Veronica, and I'm an academic English teacher at IES. This video is to help students when they submit their assignments to AE check their reference list. The reason why is because a lot of students make a lot of common errors in their reference list and lose a lot of marks. So this video will go through some of the common errors made by students. Now the first tip I'm going to give you is to use your Harvard referencing guide. You can find that in the back of your AE book. Otherwise, Google it. Now remember, in your arguments, you'll use different sources: a book, a journal, a website, newspaper, maybe a government report, and they all have different needs in their references. Let's have a look at some of the common errors made. The essay. The essay should be double-spaced. The reference list should be single-spaced. In your references, you don't need bullet points, nor do you need numbers. The reference order. It should be in alphabetical order. Punctuation. Look at the punctuation of this reference. There are many errors. Well, what are they? Firstly, you need to know what type of source it is. Now, I know because of the title here, the journal, and the volume and the issue number that it's a journal. So I look in my Harvard reference guide and I check to see the information that is required. Here is an example. So they give you in-text reference example and the reference list example. Follow that. This is how the student referenced it and this is how it should be referenced. Let's have a look at the differences. We've got our author's last name, good, comma. Then we've got the initial, that's the first name. We don't need a full stop, should be nothing. The date is not in brackets, then it should be a comma. The title should be single quotation marks and all in lowercase. Notice how it's all in lowercase? The proper noun and the first name should be in capital letters, but the rest is in lowercase. Single quotation mark, comma. Title of the journal is in italics. They had the title of the journal in italics, good. But here they said 23 bracket 4. You need to say VOL dot for volume 23, comma, NO dot for number 4, comma. Then we have our page numbers and you need a PP dot for pages in front, comma, viewed, and then your URL, and you should have a full stop at the end. First name versus last name. If you look at this reference list here, I can see Cynthia, I can see Claire, I can see Joshua. They're using first names. So how do you tell? Well, there is a trick. You need to look at the original source, and I've got it up here from ProQuest, and it's all about where the comma is. The comma indicates the author's last name and their first name. What you need is the author's last name, not their first name. So wherever that comma falls, that means the next one is the first name. Now see this little MS and the PhD? This just indicates the author's academic credentials. You don't need that. You just need their last name and their first name. So let's have a look. Now before I show you the reference, because there's 4 or more authors, I'm going to check my Harvard referencing guide. 4 or more authors, the rules. In-text referencing, you just need the first author, et al, and a full stop. And then in your reference list, you must reference all of the names. But I want you to pay attention to the punctuation. So let's have a look. Chen, L, Chen, C, Sivarasan, R, McKnight, C, and nothing, no comma. But we have the Amsterdam and. That is because that is the last author, that is the second last author. Ewing, R, nothing, date. Okay? And then we have our title, our journal, and our volume number, issue number, and view date and URL. Now, if you've got a problem in your reference list, chances are you'll have a problem in your in-text referencing. So you see this one here, in the essay it said according to Salabra. But this one, if I check the reference list, I can't find Salabra anywhere because I'm not looking for Larry, I'm looking for Salabra. So you don't need the author's first name there, you need the author's last name first, comma, L, like so. This is important because this is where you can make double errors, your referencing and your in-text referencing. You must check your in-text referencing with your end-of-text referencing. They must match. Missing information. If you see this source, I've got my Osler, Rosemary, there should be a date there. Disappearing languages, there's the date, so it's in the wrong order. But then it says it's from ProQuest. So I'm left wondering, what type of source is this? What information is missing? I need to look at the original. So I'm going to follow the URL and find the original source. And I'll also check with my Harvard guide. Please remember, books and reports need a publisher and a place. Journals need a volume, issue number, and page number. Newspapers need the day of publication. So this source came from ProQuest. And I've got my Harvard referencing guide. I'm going to check how I should reference. And I've got my reference. So Osler, 1999, and I've got my title and my journal and my volume and my issue number. So here I'll just point out this 33.7 means volume and number. This is the date and this is the page numbers. Now a little tip is you can use the cite button. If you're in ProQuest, underneath download PDF you'll find a cite button, and this is what will pop up. Now you change the citation style to Harvard, and this is what happens. Now you can copy that and paste that, but if you did, be warned, it'll be wrong because of the punctuation. See this R, you don't need the full stop after the initial, you don't need that. Should be single quotation marks. Generally they might have capital letters there, so you might need to change that. You don't need the plus at the end of the page numbers, and you do need the view date and the URL. If you use an abbreviation in your essay, spell it out. That DFAT, which should be in capital letters, should be Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade. If you're going to use the sources, make sure they're academic. This one has a blog. Now you may very well find a good argument in a blog, but use that key term and the phrases that you found and use that to search in the database. You have your keywords and you have your key phrases. In a reference list, all of a sudden we have capital letters. Rather than capital letters, make it lowercase. Not using the Harvard referencing and terminology. So you look here, they say works cited. They've started halfway down a page in the reference list. It should be on a new page, and they've said accessed. To correct this, start your references on a new page, and rather than saying accessed, say viewed, and make sure you have the correct information required. Okay, I hope this video has given you some useful tips. Good luck. Bye-bye.